the dub shock again. Gotta stop that. So, in this is another fundamentals episode, and I'm calling this. This will hopefully be a series. I'm going to call the Fast and the Furious. Basically, the topic will be all about speed and inertia and how those elements have something to do with how you fly your ship. I wanted to do the show about piloting. That was my plan this morning. So I thought I would turn to the experts of piloting, the guys in the DPS League. So I got on the TeamSpeak channel, and they gave me some excellent pointers. And I actually remembered this time to bring that up. So I'll bring those up. And also, while we were there, to get off topic, I suppose, and this will probably be a little bit personal, so if you want, jump to where I actually approach the starbase. But basically, I was asking their opinion about the Klingon science ship ISA video that I did, where I threw a grav well at a generator to bring all of the Borg spheres into that area. My intention being that whether people were targeting the generator or targeting all of the spheres with fire at will, blowing up one, blowing up two, at some point you're going to create this chain reaction of warp core breaches that will inevitably cause this massive destruction and destroy the generator, regardless of it being regenerated or not. And they wanted to see the video, and I showed it to them, and they said it looked sound. Of course, in retrospect, that's probably not the best way of doing that, because if you let a massive number of warp core breaches destroy your main target, something with a large amount of DPS, that takes away from your DPS score, and then score as well. So maybe not the best idea. But anyways, one of the comments made, which I absolutely have always felt was at issue, is that my flying sucked. It does suck, and it sucks for a reason. And I brought it up in channel. I said, I really can only use my right hand. My left hand is basically useless. And one of the guys remembered me. He's like, "Oh, you're the guy that posted in Reddit about the keybinds." And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." I posted a picture of my keybinds, how I work them out. I use the arrow keys to move the ship, distribute directional shields, just the two tray abilities, bottom ones being straight numbers, top being control. So, and this is my laptop keyboard, so things are much closer together on there, as opposed to this keyboard, which is not too bad. But, oh, and then, my left, I'm basically only using space, C, X, hardly ever need to use V, and then ZAQ for speed control. And those are fingers that, there are basically three fingers. My pointer, middle, ring to some extent, that I have control over. See, I have what's called, they originally called it familial tremor. Now they call it essential tremor. I don't know if you can pick that up on the webcam, but basically my hands shake, for one thing. but it's a motor control disorder in the same family as Parkinson's. Not nearly as serious. Can lead to Parkinson's, but is a very small chance of that, so not a big deal. And also, I thought I'd bring up, because it's been getting worse lately, my control over the keyboard, and something I'm seeing the doctor about on Monday. I go to type something and it comes out gibberish. It's very strange. And I've been having memory loss and word salad, I suppose, losing words. And these are all signs of something called, oh god, wow, now I can't even, it's CMI. I don't remember what the C stands for, but mental, I should just Google it, but anyways, it's a form of dementia. So, but there's nothing we can do about it. And another thing I had brought up previously, but, and, you know, the only reason I'm doing these videos, or can do these videos coherently, and you know, it's because we're getting ready to move, and we felt that my best chance of being able to do that was to be medicated because of my anxiety being so bad. My anxiety is really horrible. Basically, if I had to draw it down, if I can't poop there, then I'm not going there. Yeah, even the meds don't really help so much. So that's another thing. We're going to go see if we can't make the doses higher. But the reason I had to take them again, I hadn't taken them for 3 years there, and there were many reasons for that I will not get into, but basically I had a 3-year-long extreme depression that probably caused some kind of dementia-like effect. I can't remember the name of it now. But anyways, and there's also, unfortunately, a risk of a preterm, not anorexia, Alzheimer's, which would suck at 36, but just because my grandmother has it, and apparently there are things in your life you can do to bring it on early, and nothing really you can do about it, but hopefully it's not that. Hopefully it was just because I was really, really depressed. So, anyways, go ahead and approach the starbase and get this tutorial on the road for the second time, because the first time I forgot all kinds of stuff. And of course it's going to be so very slow loading this time. Yeah, basically I just need hopefully just a larger antidepressant pill, and that should help. And then we'll be moving, and that will be physically. Anyways, we're here, and you're so glad we are. Alrighty then. So, as I showed you, my keybinds are different. So for Q, I raise it 25%, and this is our bar, and we can also modify it here too, but I don't want to do that. Z toggles it on and off, full on, full off. Q, A, and then you get, here's 0, you hit A again. That brings it in reverse. Now somebody was saying in chat is that you don't want to use reverse because of what we're going to talk about, which is inertia. Now, inertia is not a value that you will find. I wonder if you'll find it in here. Hull kinetic resistance. Movement. Oh, right there. Inertia. 20. Determines how quickly your ship accelerates and decelerates. A high inertia value makes you reach your target speed faster. So the way, and I've read the comments in the forums about this because these numbers are absolutely backwards. But basically the thought behind this is with a value of 20, in order to reach its top speed, I don't, whatever time that took for that bar to reach is 20. Now, I checked on like an escort. An escort will have an inertial rating of 75. So that gives you an idea of the difference in speeds. But inertia is not just about speed. Inertia is about movement. So watch as I go into full impulse and then turn. And let's say, I don't know what's on the, I don't know what that thing is. I really hate that they made it so you can't move while you're on the map. See, this was my piloting problem. I can't actually use the mouse and move at the same time. Okay, let's say that's a group of enemies. Oh, I want to engage them. Stop, full impulse. Wait, no, I missed them. Come back. And what I used to say is hit Z to turn off your speed and then go into reverse to turn. As the guys in the league said, never do this with a scimitar because alright, stop, reverse. Okay, maybe it's more like at full impulse, or not full impulse, but just full throttle. Okay, let's say I want to turn the opposite direction. So I'm turning, hit stop, hit reverse, and now I want to go again. Okay, I see. See how it like stayed there for a little bit? That's because for a portion of that time, it was still trying to overcome the inertia of moving in that one direction. So for the semi, that's bad. If you're doing something like an escort, go right ahead. It's awesome. It's a really cool ability. For a semi, maybe drop it to like this and then turn. And then slowly bring your speed back up. And that might increase your turn speed rate and all that. That was just a tactical ability. And hopefully something he'd teach you to use in combat. Throttle depends on the ship, inertia, weapons, number of targets, ability to move the camera, all of these things together. It's dependent upon each ship, which is why I decided to make this a series to kind of give you an idea of what different classes of ships do. I'm going to play the mission called Argala, which is not actually a mission. It's a I keep forgetting it's a, you know what I'm talking about. It's a thing. Anyways, you go there. The whole point is there's three. It's getting late. Three Benton captains, and they're trying to capture a criminal, and it's either Kazan or what are the other guys? Kazan or like Hirogen. I think Hirogen. So right. I think I've covered what I was going to cover there. Oh, there are things I was going to add, like crew. I should probably research this better before I get into it. But crew is an important thing because they'll start to die off as you're fighting, and that affects your ability to do things like, I believe, subsystem repair. But something I wanted to show you, another thing when you're going into combat, you're doing full impulse. Watch the power levels. Should use my mouse because my finger's not going to reach. Okay, now weapons is at 0. Everything is at 0 except all into engines. Okay, now let's count with me. Turn off full impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, basically 12, which was what it was last time. By 3, how much do you want to bet that you're dead? Because you've got no power into just about anything. And no amount of special abilities is going to help either. So this is why you never use full impulse to get into combat. You want to give yourself enough time to exit out of full impulse and approach your targets to, I mean, I would say if you're within like 15 to 12 or somewhere in there kilometers, I would not use full impulse. I would use full throttle to get to them, and then adjust to maybe like, you know, depending on the ship, maybe go to like 3/4 throttle. And you know which throttle to use depends on, well, as they were saying, how many enemies, what their swarm's like, where they're at, how many of them you can get into the window. And oh, there's another thing. The Scimitar is so huge. Like, usually, I did it again. I keep doing this. Get out of the end of the map. The Semi is so huge that the first time you log in, it looks something like this, which is probably a fairly standard zoom level for other ships, but this ship is huge. So I zoom out because it's a big ship. But I also zoom out on other ships. Why do you think that is? More space for targets. That means my fire at will works better. And this is another argument for being able to use your left hand. If I could do WASD, which doesn't really even do that anymore. You know, I could move my camera as I moved my ship and do much better. I don't know how much it would improve my DPS. I think it probably cuts it in by half, because this thing does 22 DPS and its stats are like fairly impressive. I mean, they could still be upgraded, but they're pretty much there. So anyways, was there anything else on... Oh, I wanted to quickly cover types of starships, so you get an idea of like what... if you don't know this already, like this is something you will get into. If you don't realize it by at least tier 2, you could be screwed. You've got cruisers, which are big, bulky, have heavy weapons, but very slow turn rate. You have escorts, which have super high turn rate, super low hull, and massive weapons. Science vessels, which have really crappy weapons, but science abilities and decent hull. But the science abilities really are what give them their strength. And then they, as they get later, they break them down, but they're still basically in the same different, except for like maybe dreadnoughts and destroyers. Dreadnoughts are really they're kind of like 3 kinds for Klingon Starfleet and Romulan, being the Semi is a dreadnought, the Avenger is a Federation dreadnought, and the Moog is the Klingon one. And the Semi is by far the best. But anyways, so we go to Klingons. We've got Raiders, Raptors, Battlecruisers. Raiders are almost exclusively your bird of prey. You will not see a good T6 one unless the next one, which is coming out very soon in the Iconic set, unless that T6 bird of prey is awesome, then anything beyond, what the hell is it, like the not the Norg, the Hegta. The Hegta was pretty much the last good bird of prey and can still be used actually beyond into the farther levels, because it has a battle cloak, so you got some survivability. But that is the unfortunate truth about bird of prey. You know, they've got forward firing disruptors and torpedoes and cloaking devices and not much hull. So it's pretty much the battle cloak is what saves the ship. Raptors are not what I thought they were. I thought they were science ships, but they're actually just more beefed up versions of Raiders, and they have the weapons of a science ship, which suck, but they have heavier hull and not as good turn radius. Battle cruisers are your heavy ships, lots of hull, lots of weapons, really poor turn rate, and that's basically Klingons. I mean, they have carriers and support vessels and things like that, but Romulans, you have warbirds and warbird battle cruisers, which are basically still warbirds. And then you have the dreadnought, which is the Scimitar. And then you have, I don't actually see it on here, but the, I almost want to say the Archif, but I could be wrong. one of these people really, really enjoy, and I wanted to say it was because you can put 2 hanger decks on it, and it almost had the same abilities as a Scimitar, but I am not sure. Basically, once you play a Scimitar for the Romulan, you're ruined on any other ship. It is the ultimate fighting ship, and I know they're coming out with a T6, which doesn't look anything like the Semi, but we'll really have to see what that can do. But anyway, and then there's cross-faction ships, which any one of these you can fly regardless of Klingon, Federation, or Romulan. Everyone used to tell me, get the Benton assault cruiser because it has was it the viral torpedo, which is an awesome trait. Well, I did that. I got very lucky and got one, and now I never use torpedoes. So I have really no idea what that does. One of these is well, we can go over specific ones later, but I do not obviously have all of these starships, nor am I going to go through every single starship, but I will do as many as possible, and they may not all come at the same time. They may be spread out, especially with the move. We'll see how it happens. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. This is the Dub Shack. Hope you have a great day.